Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. This is South Florida's premier ultimate resource for everything local fishing. We're going to go over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover the future marine forecast and your moon phase and tide charts. Everything you need to know to keep you into the bite. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, or just see some great exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, let's get right into it. We got a couple pieces of news from the FWC. Good stuff. Openings, right? We like openings. We don't like closures. All right. So the first thing is snook season opened up September 1st. Here we go. So remember, snook is a slot fish. In most areas, it has to be 28 inches to 33 inches full length, total tail pinched, full length, not to the fork. One fish per person, most areas. It is open up on the entire southeast coast and most areas up and down. Basically, the whole east side of Florida is open and most areas on the west coast. If you want to, you take a look and you can see. So it has two openings during the year. The first one being February 1st to May 31st, and the second one, which we are now in, which is September 1st to December 14th. Right? So, in the northeast, the slot is 28 to 32. In the southeast, it's 28 to 32. Over in some areas on the west coast, it's 28 to 33. So just know your area. Hey, hello from Phoenix. How you doing? Glad you could join us. So yeah, be wary of your area and your slot size. And of course, the limit is pretty much one per person per day. So that's snook. Snook's opened up. Go get them if you are a snook fisherman. All right, next we've got a red snapper opening on the west coast. Check this out. It's open on the weekends. They're going to go over here. So 2024 fall private recreational season of red snapper in Gulf State waters. Weekends only from September 1st to November 30th. So you look right here, September 1st, this coming weekend, the 6th through the 8th, the following weekend, all the way up through the end of November. So that's good stuff. If you are in state waters, not federal waters, bear that in mind. Now, I don't know if NOAA will open it up and follow suit with this, but this is something nice little surprise for those folks out on the west coast. Some red snapper fishing. All right, very good. So let's get right into our fishing report. We will take a look. We're going to talk a little bit about inshore stuff. So right now the pompano are swimming through, right? We've got Pedro. He's been pounding the surf when you can't get out on the boat because it's been fairly gnarly. We'll talk about our weather here coming up sometime soon here also. So here's Pedro. He went out and, he said there's a bunch of weeds going on in close. So you got to get past the weeds, past that buildup, and then you can get out and get you some nice pompano. He caught this. I believe he said he was in Hutchinson Island. Yes. So there you go. That's where he ended up with that catch. Well, let's keep on looking and see if there is some other goodies. Yeah, we're going to go to our Monday little how you doing, post your catches thing. And this is pretty much another view of his catch. And he got some nice pompano. So pompano are, one of the better tasting jacks that, swim around. You've got yellow jacks, you've got pompano, there's African pompano, all in the jack family. Great stuff. This is what he said. He said all fish on live sardines and fish bites around 100 yards out after the first sandbar. Incoming tide. He was saying he would hopefully he could get out and go trolling, but, hey, the way the weather's been this week, might be a bust, a little hopeful dreaming right there. All right, let's keep talking inshore. Inshore, we got Scott Risco on the Silver King. Nice little tarpon right there. Solid. Having some fun. Those great catch. Definitely inshore, great fish. You know, if you're into tarpon fishing, they're out there, they're swimming around. You know, the mullet run is going. So get the mullet, get on the tarpon, find the mullet, and you'll actually probably more than likely find the tarpon. They'll be schooling around and picking them off one at a time. Let us continue with our inshore. Here we have Marlowe Kennedy. Not really sure what that is. That looks like some sort of perch. Anybody knows what this is, let me know. All right. Thanks for the submission, Marlowe. Let's keep on keeping on with our fish. Here we go. Gene sends in his catch of lobster, did several dives over several days, limited out 3 times. Man, that's awesome. I would love to be able to get out and get some lobster, but you know, I like fishing more than swimming, so that ain't gonna happen. Anybody wants to trade, we'll see. All right, more inshore stuff. So that's what we got going on, right? It was some rough goings this weekend. As you can see, Captain Ryan Palmer shared his catch, which is a wave coming over the bow. That's on his charter boat. Ryan Palmer, captain of the Family Jewel out of Fort Lauderdale. So if you're looking for a private charter, Fort Lauderdale area, you can't reach out to him, get in touch with me, and I can put you in touch with him. Does some great catching. So back to our inshore, right? We got the pompano are swimming around. The shallow water snappers, the mangrove snappers are there. Let's head off to the reef. Not much, up north. John Messenio. Nice red snapper. Too bad it's not in season. They had that nice, you know, one day snapper season. But hey, sent him back. But he didn't go home empty-handed. Out on the reef, he got himself a nice porgy and a nice strawberry grouper. So, and it looks like he's got looks like there's a vermilion snapper stuffed in there somewhere. This porgy actually looks like it got sharked a little bit. So yeah, he went home with a nice little buffet of fish. Looks good to me. Didn't get home skunked. Got himself some dinner. Good. So, you know, it's always good when you're out on the reef and you get like several different species. That shows you, you know, the reef is healthy. It's not just, you know, bottom feeders and stuff like that. So let's continue on. So that's our reef. You know, the mutton snapper are still biting. I know that. You just got to find them. You got to find the current too. Man, folks, we are currently in the dog days of summer where we're shifting from these southeasterly winds. They'll start becoming northeast, and we're going to head into fall, which means our fishing is going to fire up. We're going to get wahoo are going to start biting better. The kingfish are going to start eating more often. The bonita run will tend to slow down. The mahi are going to make a second run south on the inside of the stream. They'll be in close, you know, 200 and whatnot. So that's what we got to look forward to. All right, some deep reach, some pelagics. Let's check this out. A couple of black fins. This is Leonardo. A couple of black fins and a bunch of bonitas. So he's got strips and dinner. There we go. Perfect. Nice catch. Thanks, Leonardo, for letting us know what's out there. Next, we have Richard. Nice kingfish. Out of Jupiter, 100 feet. And then he was picking off the bonitas, helping do crowd control, population control on the false albacore. That's a nice kingfish there. Definitely solid. Takes his daughter out, the young lady. Nice kingfish, man. It never hurts when you're smacking the bonitas and one of those comes up and hits your line. It's always good when you bring that home, and that's dinner time right there. And so that's pretty much of everything. You know, we got there's a bunch of stuff swimming around right now, right, folks? There's all sorts of stuff on the deep reef, right? We've still got the blackfin tuna, the small bullets. They're the footballs. They are swimming around. The bonita are going to start getting smaller and be those little bait-sized ones. King mackerel, again, with the lessening of the bonita population, the king mackerel will be more apt to come out and feed. The further towards November we head. Like I said, October, we're going to get a second run of the mahi. That's when your good-sized bull dolphins start eating, with reckless abandonment, and you can get in on the hookup. Also, we're going to start seeing more action from the billfish, the sailfish. So deep dropping, we can always go out any time of the year and we can look for vermilion snappers in a couple hundred feet, anywhere from 200 to 300, 400. They're swimming around. You just got to land on them. They tend to be around structure. And then, of course, we've got our rosies in 800 feet. Rosies fish over the tile, not over the mud, and stay away from the tile fish. So that's what's going on with our fishing report. It was a rough week. We had plenty of weather going on this week. It was bumpy out there, as you saw from Ryan Palmer's post. So what that means is we've got not necessarily giant waves, big waves, 2 to 3 footers, but they're close together. So you go over one wave and you go under the next, and that can spell trouble. So can't blame folks for shying away. All right, let's start looking at our weather forecast. Like I said, we're going to probably continue with this weather pattern throughout the week from what the local meteorologists were saying. Did I say that right? Meteorologists. Yes, they're saying, it's going to be windy. It's going to be rainy. The rain pattern is actually going to hang out for the next couple of days. Let me bring up windy here so I can give you some idea of what's happening. So right now, up here, there is a front, right? Lots of dry air behind it, high pressure. It's going to hang out up there for the next couple of days, definitely, which means this southeasterly flow of wind that you see right here is going to bring in storms for the next couple of days, no matter what. And then the rain chance will lessen. And then as we go into the weekend, it'll pick back up again. So let's look at it. So here we are right now. Winds are, 10, low double digits. Tomorrow morning, again, our wind's picking up. It's going to blow these storms in. All over, West Coast is, going to be laid down ocean because of that. East Coast, all the way up, all the way up. We're getting, mid to high double digits. Might be a little gusty out there. Then in the afternoon, it kind of might lay down a little bit, but not really. All the way down to the lower keys. It's really kicking. It's ripping down there. Thursday morning, same story. High winds all the way up Vero Beach, and the more north we go, it actually looks a little bit more pleasant out there. But the south and the whole West Coast, I mean, man, look at that. You're seeing some wind. So also bear in mind, I'm not sure if we can see it down here. We've got a couple of, this is a tropical wave that will end up over in Belize somewhere by the end of the week, which could possibly affect our weather here. All right, Thursday afternoon. Again, the wind lets up. Storms should be over by the lake, if not a little bit west of that. In the morning, we should see, the wet stuff on the East Coast due to this weather pattern. Friday, not too bad in the morning, a little bit more subdued down all the way down to the Keys. They got that strong southeast wind, so, it's going to be bumpy out there, pretty sporty. And like I said, this weather pattern, the more north you go, of course, look, they're getting cut a break from the wind. All the way on the West Coast, it's going to be ripping, pulling from the leeward side of the island, or the peninsula, sorry, which means, inland, it'll be fairly well laid down. So, you're getting your snook fishing on down in this area, Everglades National Park, Chokoloskee, all that good stuff. It'll be windy, which might stir up the waters and make that fishing a little rough. Friday afternoon looks like it lays down fairly good, but again, that doesn't affect your oceans and your waves instantaneously. Remember, once it's kicking, and it takes a while to lay down. Saturday morning, it doesn't pick back up too much bad. It's 5 to 10 miles an hour, and it pulls up starting around the Big Bend. It looks like wind's going to blow east, but everywhere else it looks like it's got like a southeasterly flow. Looks like it's giving the Keys a little bit of a break. Inshore, Tri-County area, not bad. So, and it seems to calm down throughout the day, Saturday. Sunday morning picks up, still got that south flow, and it looks like it'll be heading due west, up into the Palm Beaches. And further north. So further north, we'll probably be looking at a swell coming from the northeast starting Sunday. we'll see that out. Sunday afternoon looks like it's pretty much laid down. And the next Monday morning it starts picking up again from the southeast, and all the way on the west coast, it looks like you got fairly mild weather going on. Lower Keys, it's they're sticking out there in the middle, weather town right there. Fort Lauderdale's not bad, but as we head up north towards Port St. Lucie, it's looking fairly decent, and it tends to calm down, and the wind looks like it's going to shift more towards the east, from the east, as the afternoon approaches. West Coast looks like it's looking good Monday. Tuesday looks fairly nice in the morning, all the way down. The Keys are starting to get a break from the weather, and coming the afternoon too. Tuesday looks good. So starting Sunday afternoon, it looks like it might start giving a break. Maybe a little bit Sunday morning. Let's see. Sunday morning, yeah, we've got this southerly flow, and as you get up into the Palm Beaches, it kind of turns westerly. So we're probably looking at a swell going on. But let's check that out. We'll turn to WindFinder and see what they're going to say about this. And we'll try and make sense of all this goodness. See if the people who've got to work all week will be able to get out. So tomorrow we got winds coming southeast, double digits, not very gusty. Chance of rain pretty much non-existent. So we'll see, but that's going to be it'll be inshore. In the morning there's a chance, and then in the afternoon there's more of a chance. Wave direction from the east and starts heading from the northeast, and right here, so you see 2 to 3 foot, right, with the 5-second period, and then as the day wanes on into night, we get into a 9 to an 8-second period. So we're going to start having a northeast swell, and that'll continue Thursday into Friday. So even though we've got this southeasterly wind, low double digits Thursday into Friday, not very gusty, not very rainy, cloudy. Our wave direction is going to be coming from the northeast. We're going to have 4-foot waves with 8 to 9 second periods. So that's that can be rather iffy when it comes to getting out there and getting into the plate. Same thing Saturday and Sunday. We've got wind, low double digits into the mid as the afternoon wanes on, that onshore breeze. Sunday, the winds seem fairly light in the morning, and they're shifting directions from south to southeast. And then we've still got this northeast swell, 2 to 3 feet, 8-second period. So it's not bad. It's going to be a swell. Monday into Tuesday, southeast to easterly flow of wind, low double digits, again, staying, in between, just below 10 miles an hour to right above it. Not very gusty at all. Rain chances seem, minimal. It's going to be spotty everywhere. And we've still got this northeast swell happening, 8 to 9 second period. It's kind of confused. They're not really jiving with what Wendy said. So there's a little bit of a confusion here going on with our forecast. Let's look and see what NOAA says about this and see if we can help kind of shine the light on some stuff here. All right. So NOAA says tonight, tomorrow, southeast winds 10 to 15, seas 2 to 3 feet. Wave detail from the southeast, right? Thursday night, southeast 10 to 15, diminishing to 5 to 10 knots in the afternoon, seas 3 to 5, occasionally to 6. Northeast wave detail, northeast 3 foot at 8 seconds and north at 9 seconds. So they're saying there's a swell coming through. Thursday night through Sunday night, southeast winds 5 to 10, seas 2 to 4, occasionally 5. Wave detail, north at 8 seconds and southeast at 2. So you're going to have a confused sea. So it's actually going to be quite bumpy out there. Regardless of the swell that's coming in, you're gonna have a confused sea. So yeah, the weekend is probably, it's going to be sporty out there. So if you're in a smaller vessel, you're going to want to probably take some serious thought about heading out there. And again, we're going to have the chance of rain and everything. Let me go back to windy, and we shall look at our waves. All right. So now that we went over that, we're going to head back to windy, and we'll look at our waves. We'll head back into Wednesday. Let's go back to windy real quick. All right. So this is tomorrow morning. We got seas, 2 to 3 all over. Everglades National Park looks a little bit laid down. Our wave direction looks like it's southeasterly, coming from the northeast. The more north you go, west coast, Tampa Bay looks fairly subdued. Your Skyway Bridge fishermen will be happy. Wednesday afternoon, looks like we're starting to get this swell pumping in, right? So Thursday, here's that northeast swell. Again, we're going to have a confused sea. You're going to have winds blowing from the southeast and a northeast swell that has come in. And you can see down here from this color-coded chart that these are 4 to 5 foot waves that are on a swell. But again, we've got wind blowing from the southeast, which is going to create a confused sea and very choppy conditions. So it's going to be a wet ride out there if you are looking to head out. Thursday afternoon, same thing, 4 to 5 foot over on the west coast, in close, not too bad. Friday, same thing. The northeast swell is hitting, but again, we've got this southeast wind, so we're looking at choppy seas, rough conditions out there. Friday afternoon, same thing. Looks a little bit laid down in the 10,000 Islands and Everglades National Park. South in the lower Keys is, 3 to 4 foot seas, 2 to 3 solid, choppy, bumpy, sporty. Saturday, same thing. It's not letting up. It lets up a little. It looks like it lets up a little bit, 3 to 4 foot, but it's still, again, with the southeast flow of the wind, it doesn't matter what these swells are doing, especially when you've got a crosswind. It's going to make it brutal out there. Okay? Same thing Saturday afternoon, lays down a little bit. Sunday lays down even a little bit more, but again, as you can see, we've got the wave directions are turning, they're going everywhere. So this is called a confused sea. So you're going to be rocking and rolling, and it's going to be a wet ride. Again, Sunday afternoon, the swell starts to redirect, but again, with the southeast wind, it don't matter. Monday, it starts to lay down a little bit, back to 2 to 3 foot. Monday afternoon, a little bit lighter, and heading it into next week, we start to see that swell go away and our waves start taking a more easterly direction. Everglades National Park looks like it's laying down. As we saw, the wind will be laying down, so folks will be able to get out and do some snook fishing, do shallow water fishing, and hopefully start being able to produce some of those red snapper. What's the significance of swells? A swell is when you've got a long period between waves, right? So swells don't really necessarily make it rough. They're far apart. It's a big, long, swooping wave. So a small vessel doesn't really, you can take on a 5 foot swell in a 17-foot boat, no problem. You're not going to notice it. You just roll over it, long swell. When you've got the period that shortens from swells are like 9 seconds to 11 seconds apart, very far apart. It's a smooth wave. When you've got waves the period is shorter in between them, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, a smaller wave can be more rough than a bigger swell. So a 2 foot wave with a 3 second period is very choppy. It's very bumpy. It's sporty out there. You're going over one wave and under the next. Swells, you're just always consistently going over. But the problem is when you have swells coming from the northeast, from this direction up here, and then you have wind blowing your smaller 2-foot waves, and it's hitting it at the cross section. That's when you get what's called the confused sea, and it makes it brutal out there. Especially, it don't matter. Even in bigger boats, people are going to be rocking and rolling. Hope that answers your question. The significance of swells is the fact that it just makes it, if your wind direction and your swell direction are in the same, you can head out. You've just got a time leaving the inlet when the swell isn't coming through. Otherwise, you can end up in trouble. But swells, you just head out and you roll right over. I've been in big swells on my little boat, and it don't bother me at all. Tuesday afternoon, looks like we're starting to lay down, somewhat into next week. All right. Now let's look at our rain and see what the rain's going to be like. So we'll start with tomorrow morning. Zoom out a little bit. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be offshore in the afternoon. You'll see it again. This is our typical waning days of summer, the dog days of summer. Rain inshore, by the lake, if not a little bit west of it, north of it, up in the, Tequesta, Palm Bay, all that area. So Thursday morning, not much going on, fairly dry. And again, we've got this front up here, which is going to be heading down and producing supposedly some drier air. Thursday afternoon, same thing, onshore breezes, some moisture out over the ocean, over the east coast. Friday, dry in the morning. Friday afternoon, inland showers. More, wash, rinse, repeat at this point. Saturday morning, not much going on. Our wind starts, blowing west. And Saturday afternoon, onshore, a little bit less activity onshore on Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning, offshore breezes, west wind, and more. It seems to be going that way, heading offshore, following that west wind in the afternoon. So once this wind starts blowing west, bear in mind that our temperature is going to be rising. So it'll get pretty hot as that wind blows the hot air over the land. Monday, a little bit of moisture in the air, not necessarily storms, cloudy, moisture in the air. Whether or not we'll get storms, those will fire up in the afternoon, as you can see in some areas. Tuesday, offshore storms, spotty, especially up north of Fort St. Lucie, Tri-County area. The Keys seem to be getting a break from the wet stuff. Tuesday afternoon, looks like the storms will start firing up offshore like they did on Monday. So that's what we're looking at right there for our forecast. All right, let's jump right into our moon phase. We are staring at the new moon right now, today. So for those of you that fish by the moon, here we go. So if you could get out, if you're a diehard bait fisherman who earns a living, you are goggle eye fishing right now. Goggle eyes bite heavily during the absence of the moon. When the night sky is illuminated, those gogs disappear. All right. So then we are going to start waxing. Waxing means we'll be heading towards the full moon. Waning means we're heading away from the full moon towards the new moon. So we're going to start to wax tomorrow. 2%. Thursday, 5%. Friday, 10%. Saturday, 17%. Sunday, 24%. Starting next Monday, we're at 33% waxing, and Tuesday, 43%. So by mid next week, you're looking at about a half moon heading into towards the full moon by the end of next week, beginning of the following week. So, which is good because again, we're in the dog days of summer. I get it, but this is good news heading towards those fall months when people rely heavily on this moon to go out and try and hunt for wahoo. So that's where we're at, right? We're at the new moon today. Absence of the moon will make the pelagics feed better during the day because the sea isn't illuminated completely at night to where they can see everything. They just got to go by scent and sound, and it makes it a little bit more difficult when fish that rely, such as pelagics that rely on eyesight a good deal, can't see anything. All right, now let's talk about our tide charts. See what we got going on. Tides are very important, especially if you're fishing that water flow by your inlets. So check this out. Again, very important. When you are fishing in the inlet or the water flow, you want the tide to be falling. You don't want the tide to be going in. Your falling tide pushes out all your sediments, your microorganisms, your phytoplankton, all sorts of goodness. The little bait fish come in and they eat that stuff, and then the big predators come in and they eat the little bait fish, which is why the falling tide is important for whether you're fishing that water flow, trolling by it, drifting by it, chumming by it, or you're on a jetty and you're actually fishing the inlet. If you are ever on a jetty and you're fishing the incoming tide like this right here, you're fishing for water. Okay, so right now, tomorrow morning, we're about halfway through the rising tide. So if you get out and you're doing it, you don't bother fishing the inlet. It's not going to happen. You'll want to fish the outgoing tide. However, bear in mind, pier fishing and surf fishing is a little bit different. As we saw, Pedro caught his pompano on the incoming tide. So bear that in mind. If you're surf fishing, if you're out there and you hit it in the morning, don't fish the inlet. Go do the surf fishing and just watch which direction your current is pulling and go have at it. All right, Thursday, we're still about halfway through the incoming tide, heading into Friday, about a little bit more than a third of the way through as the sun rises, and the tide goes slack at about 10:45 and starts cooling really good in the early afternoon hours, which is rough fishing that time of day. Saturday, the slack tide is right around noon, and it heads into the late afternoon. So this is fairly good, because what this means is Saturday, you are about a third of the way into the incoming tide. So starting next week, we'll have the exact opposite of this. Come the weekend time, you should be in your outgoing tide in the morning hours. So that's what we're looking at for our tides. All right, folks, we're going to cut it short today. Had some fun, had some openings going on. Remember, red snapper during the weekends from now until the end of November on the Gulf Coast, and snook. Snook's open 28 to 32 inches in most area, one per day per harvester. All right, before we head out, folks, I want to invite you, if you have not seen it yet, check out, we got South Florida Saltwater Fishing merch available from our sponsor, WindRider. They got hoodies, they got goodies, they got, you can get the logo on the front, you can get the logo on the back. They got the Helios and the Sol Invictus lines of their shirts. These are my personal favorites, the ones that got the hoods and the gator built in. I don't really use the gator, I use the hood. And again, support the brand if you want to. The link is in the description. And I know I haven't said it just yet, but all of the websites that I use, all of these tools, the weather, the moon phase, the tides, all of that stuff, the links are in the description to the video. So if you want to check it out and learn to use it on your own, hey, hit this channel, hit this show every Tuesday. It's permanently up on the channel. Check it out. You got a whole week until we hit next Tuesday, and we do another new one. And as usual, folks, if you are on Facebook, I implore you, join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. It is what drives this show every week. You go on, the title cover page looks like this, minus the date. Every Monday, we ask you to post your catches. If you post a catch, you are guaranteed to be featured on the show. Also, you have a chance to be the poster child and be the thumbnail for this week's episode. So, join. It's easy to join. You ask to join. You answer a couple questions. What's your favorite fish? And do you agree to the rules? The rules are simple. No advertising, no YouTube videos, stuff like that. Let's keep it clean and have some good fun, right? So as you can see last week, Jason Reese from Guggen Pro Offshore, he was the poster child. So, just post a good one. If you're looking, I'll be honest with you, if you're looking to get that thumbnail spot, it's better if you send a landscape photo, don't hold your camera like this, your phone like this, hold it like this and take that picture and step back. That way it can fit you, your fish, and the little block lettering that announces what's going on. All right, we'll be here in January learning as much as possible. Cool, man. Hey, waiting for you. All right, that about does it for this episode, folks. Short, sweet, and to the point this week. Hope to see you next Tuesday. Till then, South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Going wherever the cool wind takes us.